Welcome to another animated episode of A Strange New Pod. I'm your captain and host, Julian Brown, alongside the best bridge crew in the quadrant, our stream manager and currently working the overnight shifts in the Starbase Nursery, Rear Admiral Eric, our co-host who treats her lower decks uniform like a smoking jacket, Ensign Brittany, and the man who's ready for all the Picard cosplay if he does in fact join us at Mission Chicago, Lieutenant Hawk. Ensign Erin, who we do know likes to bring all the Romulan ale to weddings. She was at her wedding last week, is off tonight. We will see her next week. Glory to you and your houses. How is everybody?
Tired.
In a dream.
Yeah.
We're all tired, but we avoided a tornado. So
we avoided a tornado. I was half like, am I going to be able to do a show tonight? Am I going to have power?
Yeah,
who knows? Here we are. Here we are. So this week, guys, we are going to be breaking down both the Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Lower Decks trailers from San Diego Comic-Con at home. Those trailers, by the way, were both beautiful, epic, and awesome. I'm ridiculously excited to talk about them, and I'm excited for Lower Decks in 2 weeks time exactly. In 2 weeks, we are going to be talking about New Trek again on the pod, which is
New Trek.
So good.
Pretty awesome.
That's what everybody's here for.
Yeah, literally. It's like, screw. Can you guys stop talking about Cardassians, please, and just talk about Lower Decks?
We will.
We will in 2 weeks. We're also going to be talking about our Patron's Choice topic this week, and that is the retconning of Star Trek characters in both the past and present of the franchise. I'm just going to preface by saying we had a little bit of trouble with this one, finding some things. A little bit of trouble? Characters specifically that have been retconned, because not that many characters have been retconned. But we're going to do our best, and we're going to talk about some things that have been retconned in Star Trek, not necessarily all characters. And we would love your feedback on Twitch, our awesome Twitch collective. We would love to hear from you. So keep those comments and questions coming all night long. And Rob says in 2 weeks and then forever. It's going to be 50,000 weeks of New Trek after Lower Decks premieres. So before we get into our show, let's talk about some news. This is a big piece of news. I know, like, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys had to deal with it in Canada. I don't think you did, but internationally, like overseas, a lot of people complained last season for Lower Decks about the long delay between the US and Canadian fans getting it and them getting it overseas. It was a few months. And now international audiences aren't going to have to wait, which is awesome. It's literally the next day, which is awesome. So we could all talk about it. It's going to be great. I'm really stoked for our international listeners and international friends. So that is going to debut internationally on Prime Video the day after the US premiere. So Friday, August 12th.
So we definitely spoil it for the people overseas.
Well, we'll be sleeping when we record, so yes.
It doesn't matter.
Some of them stay up.
That's true.
Some of them do. That's true. So Lexi, don't listen to the show live for a few weeks. Sometimes she does, or sometimes she doesn't. I don't know. We'll see.
Damn it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that bit of news. That's exciting. I know a lot of people on the Trek Twitterverse were ridiculously excited about that. As well, they should be. They deserve it. There shouldn't be these long delays. And then let's talk about this briefly, because this was really cool. This was kind of going to be our impromptu Strangely Loop, because we have a lot to get to with the 2 trailer breakdowns. Since we're not really doing, well, I don't know why I'm reading that since I just said it, so I'm going to cut that out. Tired. So with the casting news that Gia Sadhu is playing the role of T'Pring, who we first met in TOS and Amok Time, in 3 episodes of Strange New Worlds. I believe it was 1, 5, and 7, or it was something along 3, 5, and 7. I think
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. One, what do you guys think about the news? Because I have it on some good authority and sources that it is legit. And 2, are there any other? Well, let's answer the first questions first. What do you guys think about? I guess not necessarily the casting, but just the fact that T'Pring, Spock's basically betrothed, is going to be showing up in Strange New Worlds.
I think it's good. Like, they didn't, like, Bones and Kirk weren't there, so it's not like them not knowing that she existed is gonna get retconned. Retcon. So,
Right
it's cool.
away, I said to bring it on, and you know what? I'm not Sadhu by this news. I'm very gladu. Just shut up!
Gladu Farada.
Whatever, I do what I want.
Whatever, do what I want.
I think
at
at the very least,
team, we didn't take me to the brig. Sorry,
At
Hawk.
at the very least, it's going to be interesting in that, even though like her character only showed up in the one episode, and that there were layers there, like the
Yeah.
duplicity.
Like an onion.
Yeah. Ah,
Like an ogre. She's got layers.
is that another thing I'm saying too much? Is layers?
No. We're feeling
I just like Shrek.
Shrek
sugar
yourself
water.
before you wreck yourself. That's what I say. Better out than in, I always say.
I think this is great too because I think it opens the door for other TOS characters to show up in later episodes and possibly later seasons. So that leads me to my next question, guys. Are there any other secondary characters that we've met in the original series that you might want to see reprise their roles in Strange New Worlds? I'm not talking like bridge crew like Ahura, Kirk, any of them. Like secondary characters like the Salt Vampire or things like that that you
The
might want to show up
Tribbles.
in the series.
Oh, there was one.
They
They
I
probably
was
won't bring
thinking
the
of.
tribbles in.
They
But-
already did the one I want, and it was the Guardian of Forever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't seen all of TOS, but Salt Vampires could be fun because they look so whack.
What
I'll
about
throw
giant
one out
floating brain child?
Valid.
Maybe we will get to see the character of Richard Daystrom back in the series.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We could get the giant green floating alien hand. That could happen.
Yes.
Possibly.
Rob says
Amazing
Cybok.
VFX these days.
Cybok.
No,
Rob.
Cybok. Speaking of retcon,
No, he doesn't exist. I would love to see the beginnings of the downfall of Garth of Izard. I think that I got that right. Right, Hawk. It's I'm not.
Is that
Garth.
Wayne's buddy, Garth?
Not Garth.
Excellent.
Sorry, my phone is
Party
doing
on,
things.
excellent.
I gotta cut that out. I don't know. Everything. Not
Papi
working tonight.
Bindua. Papi Bindua. You're scaring me, dude.
Why can't I remember the name?
Captain Garth.
This is the guy who goes mad.
Yes.
And because of he gets like too much power during the Klingon War. It's the whole thing that Axanar, the fan film made by that creepy guy, is well, yes, I'm gonna read that one too. Is like he starts to go mad, and we see that fully in TOS. But I'd like to see him like interact with Pike and kind of start to see like the inklings of like his downfall. I think that would be really cool.
I'll take your word for it because
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Maybe we'll watch that episode. I forget
That's a really good choice for tonight, actually.
When TOS Saturday night starts back up, I'm gonna try and keep up with it and watch
with
all the
every
way through.
TOS Saturday night. Yeah.
Yeah.
If
I
T'Pring shows up, does that mean we're gonna get T'Pau maybe?
And to Pain.
No, afterwards it's to fall and then to winter. So
And then
you skip straight over to summer because we're in it right now.
Talix
I love to pain.
Yeah,
Says-
you read the one. Yeah,
says Robert
Yeah.
April. Ooh,
Yes.
I would like that.
I've been having that conversation with people. I think that would be a really cool way to make something that's considered officially canon, really canon, and show him on TV and show that he was the first captain of the Enterprise and have him like, I don't know, come like kind of lay it in a Pike, like, you taking good care of my ship, like, and maybe they don't do so well. That would be a fun episode. So I would love to see that. Rob says Commodore Matt Decker, the crazy dude from the Doomsday Machine. We're talking about bringing all the crazies back. I like it.
But make him not crazy, so that
yeah,
their
it would
fall
be-
is sadder.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
We'll see.
Listen, this series can show us a whole lot of things and bring characters back that we know and love, and I think
They can show us a whole
do it
new
well.
world.
Oh God. Oh God.
You set it up
A
dazzling
dazzling place
down.
I
I
never
like
knew.
dominoes.
Anything else we want to add about Strange New Worlds before we move on?
It's gonna be great, and I just want it to show up already.
So
It can take its time though.
people think September 8th for Star Trek Day. We might get a trailer because they've wrapped
Spooky.
filming. So
Okay.
would be nice. It would be a pleasant surprise. I need to see my handsome Anson again. So
Well,
all
it
right,
is
guys.
Paramount Plus.
Yep. Before we get to the Star Trek Prodigy breakdown, we have to do a quick thanks to our Patron Collective members at the Ready Room level and above. And Eric, would you like to give those thanks today?
Well, yes, obviously we'd like to give thanks to our patron collective members at that level and above, like Simon Stager, Damn it, I was saying that
Steger.
wrong. Steger, Jeffrey from Mariah Gossett, and Bradley, Spotted Giraffe, Rob, Jen Stein. I almost said that wrong.
Jesus.
You would.
Tina.
The Canadians can't do it.
No, it was just because I've been saying it wrong on purpose. Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santo, Kung Hui, JD, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Mark, Dana Pearson, Fernanda Nogales, and SMK.
Woo woo! Thank you
It's
guys.
Kang Hui.
You rock. It is
Kang
Kang
Hui,
Hui.
damn it.
You're Asian.
I'm not that kind of Asian.
I know you're not.
I'm the Polynesian one.
Oh,
You're like Southeast, man. Southeast.
I do want to give a quick congratulations to Spotted Giraffe, who is taking the role of helping me take care of some stuff on Twitter. She's kind of like a social media manager. She's going to be doing some fun stuff. You've already seen some of her stuff on Twitter already. So congratulations to her. Yeah, she's awesome.
As long as
she's just
As long as she makes people watch good movies, I'm happy. Like Rear Window.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, Aaron.
She's schooling Aaron right now.
And
yeah.
I have so many memes
Yep.
that she can use.
There you go. There are some good ones already on there tonight.
The meme
I'm a meme
machine.
dealer.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of did stuff today.
Hey.
Snuck them in there.
Just real quick, guys, if you'd like more information on our patron program and collective and the perks that you get with that, just head on over to strangenewbod.com and click on our Patreon tab. It's easy, it's fun. Join us there. Let's get into our first breakdown tonight, and that is for Star Trek Prodigy. Before we even get to the breakdown, guys, what did you think about this trailer? You finally got one after hearing about this show for months.
My first thought is I love the animation already. I know
Yeah.
that people were a little weird when they first showed the character models because, people are picky about lots of different things. But I really like it. It looks like it works. I can't really tell like what to compare it to, but like it's almost reminiscent of like the Clone Wars style stuff, but more soft in a way. So I like that it's kind of like reflecting a lot of the 3D animated shows that we see now. But it looks gorgeous, and I just can't wait to learn more about the characters. Like I'm just like, this was such a small. It was like not even a full minute, and you're just like, oh, it was a taste. Give me more.
Yeah.
Same. I had to that was the first comparison I came up with. That was it's very Clone Wars-esque in the style of animation that they went with, and that like other than that, it's just a really interesting take on Star Trek, and that it's geared towards kids and that. But we're gonna consume it like crazy in that because all four of us are just basic children right now. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Basically. No, we are. As I play with my Beverly doll.
I'm a very advanced child. Thank you.
You
For
guys
children who can drive cars.
I have my
Eraser
Skeletor
head?
right here.
From Batman?
Skeletor. Oh,
Oh man.
Yeah, I loved it. I think it looks great. I like the sound design. I thought it sounded Star Trek-y without it being like a parody
Overtly
of it.
Trekky?
Yeah,
yeah.
overly.
Yeah.
It just it gets me excited to show Trek for to my kids. Like
I like
it doesn't look too dark, but it
Janeway's
doesn't look
line.
like undark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like dark enough that it's not going to scare the bejesus
Do you think
out
your
of a
kiddos are
child.
going to watch it? Like, do
Oh,
you
yeah,
think they'll
fuck
sit down and
yeah.
watch it?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nice.
After Steven Universe is watched
I
for
was
like
gonna
the
say they
fifth
made
time?
it through Steven Universe, so they're strong.
I think any layers of darkness it has are pretty much, and they're not going to be kids and that. We're going to get the references and that. The kids are going to, come to that on their own.
They're not going to be scared about corporations taking over people.
Afterwards, they're gonna be like, "Daddy, I know what genocide means now."
Well,
Once again, Steven Universe already.
Yeah, I was
covered
gonna
it.
say.
We're fine.
do you know what gets me excited about this show, trailer aside? The fact that right before we got the trailer, we got that announcement that Star Trek is repartnered with Playmates, which means that we're going to get awesome fucking toys for the series. We're probably going to get a USS Protostar toy. We'll get all the action figures, all the props and phasers and tricorders and whatever nerd shit that comes out, like toys. Yeah.
It's all going tricording to plan.
Ooh. I'm
Oh,
not even going to button you.
Anyway.
That was a good one.
the sound
try.
that Murph makes in the trailer, it
Oh
just
my
makes me
God.
want to buy every Murph
Yes.
ever.
He did it. Who's the voice actor for him?
D. Bradley
Baker.
D.
Yeah.
D. Bradley Baker
How
during
dare
the.
It's okay. We're good.
he did it live on the Comic-Con panel, and I was just like, more, give it to me. Give it to me. Yes, thank you. All right, guys, let's go into our trailer breakdown here. I'm actually going to go onto our Instagram and kind of reference these posts that I made here, and we get some shots right at the beginning of who seems like he's going to be the lead, right? Brett Gray's doll, and he's on this, prison, I guess, asteroid or planet, and he's planning his breakout from whatever prison that he is trapped in. What did you guys think of these opening shots? Him kind of just like looking wide-eyed to the stars. At one point, he looks like he's driving like a rig trying to escape, and you get them in suits. Looks like they're mining something. Maybe they're mining dilithium.
I love how gloriously purple he is. Like that first shot where you see his eyes, you're just like, oh my god, that's such a cool like glowing color. And I know it's just from the shadowing there, but I love the character designs. Like we already said, how interesting the characters looked, even though we didn't know anything about them. So I'm prepared for this tiny kid, well, I guess teenager, to like lead this show. Yeah. And I just want to know more. I'm like, why are you here? Why are you on this quote prison planet? Like, what happened? Who did this to you?
We obviously know who did it to them. This is what happens when Jeff Bezos goes into space.
Yeah. When he flies his giant penis into space and goes all Dr. Evil on everybody, this is what you get.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Oh my god, Jeff Bezos. Good lord. Anything anybody wants to add on these first 3 shots?
He's definitely primed to be like the leader in that, or the commander in that. Yeah, he's very hopeful. Everybody else is pretty much consigned to what they're doing, and then he's already plotting his escape in that. Not plotting, but just planning.
Yeah, he's got those like. Oh, go ahead, Britt.
Oh, I was about to say he's got that anime protagonist hair, so like that spiky up hair. You're like, okay, Naruto, let's go.
You say hair, I say eyes. He's got those like wide eyes, like looking to the stars. Like I believe in the hope.
He's got the eyebrow slit too, so he means business.
Did we talk about
how reserved for angry lesbian characters only? So like, if you're a man, you have it. Great job.
Did we talk about how the Nickelodeon blimp bumped into the Paramount Mountain and how adorable that was?
It was adorable.
And it solely set the tone for the trailer of it being still a little bit kiddie, but still, it's still
I hate how good the marketing was because big companies, but it was cute.
A mountain range of emotions will come upon us.
Speaking of mountain ranges, there are no mountain ranges in the next few shots I'm going to talk about. So that was a horrible segue. Part 2, we have this. We see Zero, who is the Hayden, or what's the species that they are from
the
TOS?
Really glowy thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the Medusans.
Medusans. Thank you. I don't know why I was going Hades.
They're a robot.
We see Zero. We see a little bit more of Doll, and we get Rock Talk, who
adorable.
I am so excited for Rock Talk. And they were talking about this on the panel, right? How everybody expected this to be like the muscle and the big burly boy character. And like, this is like played by a little girl and her lines are amazing. And like her eyes, like the animated eyes for all of this is just awesome. And I think her line is something about like, what if they catch us? And you see these little, they almost look like replicators from SG-1 crawling on the ground. What do we get from these few shots in our first kind of real good look at Zero, this person who has to keep their essence in this so people don't go mad?
The essence moving inside the body looks so good, and is animated so well, and then it still moves sort of like the Portal character. So you're getting this cool like Star Trek Portal thing.
Yep.
And it just looks so good. Like I can't wait.
Yeah, all the animation in this trailer is so gorgeous. Like, it's crazy because the show must be done for them to be like, but the show might not be completely done yet, and it's still just like, if this is the final product, I already love it. It's the eyes, like you said on Rock Talk, like they're this cute little like innocent blue, like they look like the eyes of a child in this big like sort of hulking creature. So you're just like, oh,
it's she's like amazing.
She's going in a little bit, so you're like, oh my god, I want to give you a hug.
The rocks.
That's the thing. It's amazing how they're able to portray that and make her look like that, despite the fact that she's basically Star Trek's The Thing. It's awesome. I love it because he's not very animated in either the shitty Fantastic Four movies or comics because he just can't make.
Are you saying he was looking pretty grim?
Whoa.
to know what the hell is going on.
Jesus Christ.
He deserves more respect.
What do we
But
think
yes.
about these little replicator things? I feel like they're
They're
not a
neat.
big deal, but I think they're
Yeah.
important to move the plot into space.
Yeah, there'll probably be that moment where like the gang sort of all comes together because of this tiny, like this smaller threat. I don't really see them as being like a big bad, but
And then watch is just an
When you're a
off
kid.
shot.
Yeah,
and we're
right.
totally wrong.
yeah, it has nothing to, or it's in the finale. Like who knows? The way they do trailers, you're just like, I know exactly what's going on, and then
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah. And then the next part of the breakdown gives us our first really good looks at John Compog, who
Constantine?
is a Tellarite, and then D. Bradley Baker's Murph, who, like we said at the top, like holy crap, I'm gonna fall in love with a blob again after the Orville. I thought that would be the only blob I love, and
Nope.
That's my quote of the night. I'm gonna fall in love with a blob.
I'm
Again.
gonna fall in love
I'm gonna
with
get
a
that
blob
tattooed
again.
on me.
And then we also get another look at Gwyn, kind of looking reflective. What do we think about Jean Compog and Murph? Because I judge by the trailer that they might be a package deal.
Like Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, exactly.
Pog and Murph.
Well, Pog
Gonna
looks
have their
like
own side-
Rocksteady
their, like,
already,
side
right?
series.
a little
Their
bit,
spin-off.
a little bit.
The glasses and the hair, yeah. I like how Jason Mantzoukas doesn't sound like Jason Mantzoukas. Like, well, you can hear it, but he's not like.
He took it down to Mantzoukas level.
Yeah, he's not like Invincible
He
or
only went
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
75% Menzies.
Yeah.
He's not
Like,
full
not
Derek.
Mantzoukas.
Only about 50% pimento.
You didn't go
No
Manzella
one wants to
with
go
it.
that high.
I love that Murph, like, I know the audience can't see this, but the shot you have of Murph in the Instagram, everybody go follow the Instagram account. It's the best. You'll get all the news there. But the way, because it's such like a squishy little gooey creature, like it looks kind of wet, but you know it's probably not wet. But then the eyes, it looks like a sea creature's eyes. Like if you stare
Yes.
so deeply into it, like it's the reflect, like it's so amazing.
I like that it looks like the universe is in it. Like
I
there are
was about to say
stars
the
there.
same thing.
Sparkly.
Yes.
Oh.
You
Yep.
stare too deeply into them, you'll
What if
see
it is-
yourself reflected back.
You'll see the time bird or
It's like when
whatever.
you stare at
koala.
a deer for too
The
long.
giant
It's
koala.
like-
Space
in the
koala?
sky.
Yes.
You get a little creeped out when you stare at a deer for too long, and then you're like, "What do you know?" But Murph, it's
understand
like in a
this.
cute way. Anyway, I said something about she wants them all to get their Gwyn dependence, and that's the last thing I remember before the internet cut out. So you
Sorry
didn't
about
get-
that.
There's the joke.
Thank you,
Do we have
Rogers.
anything we want to add on these three shots, or three shots before we move on?
I love the hair animation.
All like listen, we're gonna keep repeating ourselves for this entire show, but the animation for this show is just some of the best animation I've seen, and I'm so stoked for it. All right, I'm excited to talk about this, and this is the first shot we get of our hero ship, the USS Protostar. It is really cool looking. It is sleek. We get a shot of that, and then we also get a shot of Doll kind of like looking down at some stuff, and then it's also doing some like one of those like kind of Kelvin type maneuvers, and then also from like Into Darkness when like they're going through the crack, we get a little bit of that. And then we get Janeway's whole like we've only just begun, and then you see Doll making like cracking a joke about, oh, I didn't know that there are this many stars, and we fade to black and Star Trek Prodigy this fall. I'm so excited for this show. So, what do we think about the USS Protostar?
I already like it. As far as ships are concerned, like it looks like it would be a ship they would like theoretically what most people think would be sent back after the Voyager like reached home. It looks enough like Voyager-esque, but at the same time you're like, I hope it's afterwards. And they were like, let's send stuff out to the Delta Quadrant, but we don't know.
Yeah, it's 5 years after,
I
right?
like it.
Yeah, 5 years.
We'll talk about this in a minute, but I may have actually solved what this ship is, but
He solved it.
we'll talk about it.
Oh, it's one of the Archer designed ships, right?
No.
I loved
It's a better theory.
how big
Crap theory.
the bridge window is, right? It's like
Yes.
ginormous and nothing like we've seen, even
you know
on
why?
Picard, because the kids need to
Because you're
see.
hell when like that whole like thing was cracked open and she was just like, let's ram it. You need it to be even bigger this time around.
That's fair. I understand.
Do you know do you think, you want to know why I think it's so big?
Screen.
Because I don't think that this ship is
Fucking
meant to
hell.
have a lot of people. I think there's meant to be like 2-3 people on this bridge max. And otherwise this is a ship that can like fly very automated. Something like that.
Apparently,
You
there
mean
was.
it's not a cruise ship?
Maybe
I
there are
was going-
children on board. Oh, there are. Sorry, Hawk.
Hawk.
No worries. I was going through Trek Culture's breakdown of the trailer and that, and apparently this style of bridge with the huge monitor and the shape and that appeared in a comic book form of a Picard story.
I may have read
It's all
that.
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go back and look, it's very similar design and that, the huge open concept and that. Speaking of which, about this, I'm kind of wondering if there's a backstory in that. What happened to the crew of that ship?
They're mining.
Yeah. We
Either
may
there
find out,
was
we
a
may
crew
not.
Or there was never a crew.
Yum Yum Pod says still yet to watch the Prodigy trailer, but the stills we've seen look very nice, which we totally agree with.
What if it was automated, sort of like a drone ship?
Well, I'll just get right into it. Thoughts after we'll talk about the USS Protostar first, and I'm going to give my theory. So, I was just randomly watching Voyager the other night, and it's the episode where the crew start getting letters and transmissions from Earth because of Pathfinder, and Admiral Hayes keeps sending reports and contacting the ship, and he specifically says to Janeway, "We've dispatched and rerouted 2 deep space vessels to the Delta Quadrant. If all goes well, they will rendezvous with you in 5 to 6 years." And this is 5 years later.
Bum, 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 bum,
Hey.
bum, bum,
You heard it
bum.
here first.
You heard it here first. It's one of those ships.
But then why would Janeway be the hologram on there?
Because they were testing out experimental holographic
fair.
command people, and she's like a go-to captain. I would do it.
I hope Robert Picardo shows up.
We'll
That
see.
would be awesome. Brittany doesn't buy that I've solved it.
No, it would work, except for the fact that because she's a program on there, it makes it seem like it's something they'd only developed after she got back. Because they wouldn't have added her in and sent it out if they didn't even know if the Voyager crew would ever be alive or return. So it's like a catch-22.
Well, what? Okay, this is getting sorry,
Or
Hawk, real quick.
they
This
sent
is,
it out early and then they sent an update to the system just to be like, bloop, here's your
this
Janeway.
is
Firmware
getting really
update.
dark. But what if they put her on there in the event that, like, during their mission, Janeway dies, and they need someone to have like Janeway's face, right? Like, and be like, "Hey, it's your captain," like to boost morale.
Isn't that
No.
scarier?
Fuck.
They know they'd all be dead.
Well,
Depends on how dark they
Ghost
go.
Janeway.
I think there's a clear answer to this, and if we'll have to see what the hologram, Janeway's hologram, what rank she is at that point.
Yes. Yeah. We'll
So-
see.
I think I've solved it. This is the ship that Harry Kim takes to the Delta Quadrant. And it screws up, and he goes back to ensign.
He gets demoted.
Why would you do that?
You're
Don't do that.
a
Don't get my hopes up and
you're a
destroy it.
cruel man.
He's
Eric.
gonna harry that weight.
Oh.
Get off my
That's a
bridge.
Cowboy Bebop joke. Anyway.
Okay. Anything else we want to add to this before we move on to our next segment of the night?
I can't wait.
I'll say this before we get to Lower Decks, but my favorite thing that I'm always most excited for with animated shows that are coming out is like you already know the main cast when they announce it, but there's always so many people that pop up in shows like we've even seen in Bad Batch where you don't know they're going to be in the show, like you can hope, and then they show up as like side characters or like, you know, special appearances and stuff. So just knowing that this and then Lower Decks is coming back, there's so much potential for people that have been in Star Trek, but also a lot of other voice actors and people that you like know and love that have signed NDAs and can't tell you they're going to be in it, but the minute they show up, you're going to be like, no fucking way!
I was so shocked and happy when Alexander Siddig showed up in Bad Batch. I was like, oh, what's going on? It's crazy. It's awesome. Yeah.
So since it's a Nickelodeon show, like they have,
Yeah.
it could be anything. So that's all I'm going to say is that I'm excited for that aspect as well, but that's just because I'm a nerd.
Omega
And I'm
shows
like,
up. Omega.
What voice actors in?
Omega.
Exactly. Omega.
Omega.
You have to use the Omega protocol.
Yummy Up Pod goes, give us Naomi Wildman. Yes.
You never know. You
never know.
Remember in the future? Remember when they see the future and like Naomi Wildman's doing shit?
Yeah, she's like an ensign,
everybody's
right?
doing stuff.
Yeah.
Boimler shows up. That would be amazing.
The crossover
my
of the
God.
century.
It would be.
What if? We're already getting Marvel's What If. What if we got Star Trek's What If?
Now we're going into crackpot theories.
We are.
I like it. Break
Guys,
up the triangle.
I this is unexpected because I have to go help Cecily with something real quick. But Hawk, I'm going to hand the con over to you just for a couple of minutes as we go into our second segment of the night, which is our Patron's Choice, talking about retconning characters, the past and the future of that. We're kind of not going to keep this to just characters because that's a little tough. So we're going to talk about other things in Star Trek that have been retconned. But Hawk, I will let you take it away, sir, and I'll be back in a minute or two.
Burn it with fire.
All right, taking the helm. This is going to end in disaster.
Don't Riker this. Don't put D right into the ground. I'm just joking. I love Riker.
So retconning. We were talking a little bit earlier about this. This is a very difficult subject because how many characters have really been retconned in that? Like, there's been little things here and there.
Should we talk about what a retcon is first?
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Let's Google retcon. Just kidding.
You had a definition up earlier, didn't you?
I did, and then
Then you
Googled
closed
for
it like a
something
silly.
Retcon is basically when
meaning
you take
so.
a new. Oh, go ahead.
So, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency.
AKA retroactive continuity.
Example. My example would be when they did Trouble with Tribbles, the DS9 episode, and they had them go back into the TOS episode, and the whole time you knew after watching the TOS episode, like, nobody else was on this ship that wasn't the normal crew. But then after having seen the DS9 episode, you're like, I know the DS9 crew is there.
It is
All
funny
of this-
going back and
it has been
watching
a
that
retcon.
episode like that, right?
Yeah, it's funnier when you watch the TOS episode because then
Yeah.
you're just like, Jazee's down that hallway hitting on Spock right now. It's amazing. And when the last Tribble hits Kirk on the head, you're just like, it's great.
Yeah.
So that's my little retcon.
I'll
that
give
you guys
one.
did.
I'll give a retcon from the TOS, those old scientists. Very early Star Trek episodes, they were talking about, Earth ships, Earth bases, and the United Earth Space Probe Agency. And that sort of got retconned into Starfleet. They didn't really talk about it afterwards. So that's
Yeah.
a nice little retcon.
Space probes.
Do you know something that I think they need to retcon very badly in the show? Friendship 1, the probe where that Voyager has to track down that killed everybody. Well, hold on. What this is like such a nerd nitpick geek thing, but this is sent out like a couple of years after Zefram Cochrane makes his first warp flight, right? And you see it floating through the Earth and heading towards this planet, but it has the Starfleet Delta on it. And I'm like, but Starfleet wasn't created yet. Just like get a CG artist and just paint over that shit.
And then it destroys their planet and gives everybody that weird cancer.
Oh boy, that
And you're like,
episode
this is not what friendship is about.
that episode is dark.
It's stressful.
It is. It is.
I have
Because-
a. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just had a question about a retcon. I wasn't sure if it was a retcon.
Wetcon?
A wetcon.
A wetcon that's a different act entirely.
That's a
Nuclear Wetcons.
Vestals. So back in the day in TOS, and sort of TNG, they sort of talked about the eugenics war and World War III, but they sort of mingled the two, but I wasn't
did.
sure if they were separate or they were the same thing. Do you guys know?
The
Or did I-
eugenics wars were supposed to be during the 90s.
90s, yeah.
In Trek lore, and World War III, I think, in the early mid 2020s to 2030s, 40s, something.
So
like
they
that.
just moved it later.
I mean,
I
that
don't
could
think.
still happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. it could.
Oh.
Well, it's weird, right? Because did the eugenics wars happen in the Discovery timeline, which is supposed to be the Prime timeline? Because Burnham mentions, well, I think it's either Burnham or someone else mentions Elon Musk, and I'm like, but retcons. Did we read the first one that we got on Twitch yet?
No.
This is from Rob before he went night night. He's got a retcon for us. He says Zephyrin Cochrane. He was a complete square in the episode TOS Metamorphosis, which is absolutely true. He is awful and boring in this episode, and is in love with a cloud. So then all of a sudden in 1998 or 6, when First Contact comes out, he's the lovingly drunken James Cromwell in First Contact, which was the much better portrayal. But there's no way that Zephyrin Cochrane also becomes the Zephyrin Cochrane that we see later in TOS. It's like a very, very weird departure.
What if it's his distant something?
What if that
Like it's-
cloud didn't love him back? I would go to drinking if that happened.
What
Very
if
true.
the other Zephyrin Cochrane is the love child of that Zephyrin Cochrane and the cloud?
They are very fluffy, so.
Just saying.
Yum Yum Podcast. Lorca mentioned Musk, and that was a sign he was actually evil.
Yep. Yep.
Accurate.
No, for Zephyrin Cochrane and that, it's a young man versus an older man in that. And the Zephyrin Cochrane you meet in First Contact and that, he's already, he survived like a war.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know if that counts as retconning.
But is it? I just don't know, because that Zephyrin Cochrane in that TOS episode is so young and such a completely different character. Like, is it supposed to be an alternate version? Does he go somehow get transported in time? Like, what happens?
We don't know.
He says that he wanted to build the ship to get rich and retire on a beach with naked women. Like, was that his plan? He launched himself into space and crash landed on that planet, and it was the best he could do.
First attempt. Didn't
Yeah,
work.
right.
I don't know. But yeah, they could retcon that and just get rid of those like weird loose ends that we have around that time period.
Yeah.
Maybe Strange New Worlds will do that.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, First Contact made it so much better and made the character so much better. What were you going to say, Hawk?
Is it time to talk about Cybok yet?
Let's talk
Cybok.
about Cybok. Do it, Hawk.
Let's talk about Cybok, baby.
All right, so
Spock and me.
we meet Cybok in Star Trek V for the very first time. A brother that's apparently not even Kirk, who's Spock's closest friend in the entire universe, did not even know about.
Like a Vulcan.
You didn't know about Michael either.
Logic for the very first time.
Starfleet just
Protect us all.
Starfleet just keeps telling Spock not to tell people about his siblings.
Yep.
Don't tell them about.
Kirk is like,
Don't tell them about
now
Cybok.
you have a sister?
Well, it's
Now you
like,
have a half brother?
your sister went to the future to save all humanity. That's classified. Oh, also that douchebag renegade brother. Yeah, you can't talk about him.
Don't
He's
talk
bad
about
for
him.
business.
Yes, we never talk about him at Thanksgiving.
Some things you can't bring up in conversation. And Cybok is one of them.
Listen, I think there's a chance he shows up in Strange New Worlds. I'm not even being funny. I mean, like, if you want to bring back the character and show the beginnings of him wanting to go away from logic and find God, this is the show to do it, right?
When
Like-
does Strange New Worlds
yeah.
take place?
I think directly after season 2, directly after season 2 of Discovery, unless they're doing a prequel when they did the 2 short treks, and it's like when Spock is an ensign
I hope
on
not.
Enterprise. But I don't
hope
think that
not.
they're doing.
I
I
don't
hope
want
not
them to
to.
do
No, I don't want them to do.
I was
that.
just wondering year because he does die at some point.
He died. Does he actually die? I forget. Does he die at the end of first?
I just googled him. He
Oh.
dies at Shakari.
Oh, he dies at Shakari in Final
Shabbai.
Frontier. He dies in Star Trek
Yeah.
5 when
I was
he
like, damn.
finds God.
God.
Well, we can see him beforehand.
It'd be cool, like we saw in Enterprise T'Pau before
Ow.
before she became that religious leader. So it'd be cool to see him be a normal dude and then become zealotized or whatever.
Plot twist: what if God is just zero?
Well, this is actually speaking of retcons on retcons. I think in that same episode you were talking about from Enterprise, Eric. Like, what if they retconned his fanaticism to be part of that sect of Vulcans
I like
who studied what? Who's the ancient Vulcan that they?
Oh boy,
I think it starts with an
Tashka
S
Tor.
as well.
Sirach.
Sirach.
Yes,
Sirach's
Sirach.
teachings.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yum Yum Pod said cast Dax Shepard as Cybok.
That would be so chaotic. What the fuck? I mean, I'm here for it, but that would be so
Yeah.
chaotic. I don't know if I could do that.
Before I left, Hawk, did you bring up Spock yet? I mean, we're kind of talking
Nope.
about him, via third
Spock
party
is
because
the
of
biggest
Cybok and
retcon.
Michael. But yeah, he is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they really play around with his history a lot, don't they?
I like that they made him dyslexic. I know a lot of
Yes.
people didn't like that, but I like that retcon.
I
It
love it.
works.
I absolutely love it. I think that giving him a sister and giving him Michael in Discovery, I don't think that like fucks with canon that some people complain that it does. Spock, as we know from TOS and the movies, is and listen, even in TNG, like he doesn't tell anybody he's going to Romulus. Spock has always kept everything very close to home and close to the vest. He doesn't share a lot. So go ahead.
That's canon. That's from Unification 1. Remember, like when Sarek and that during the onset of his illness or the full blown effects of the illness and that would talk about how Spock would disappear for days. He'd go into the mountains. He wouldn't, I'd punish him, but he still wouldn't tell me. And that Spock never talks about his personal life.
Nope. And that's actually shown in Discovery season 2. Spock would go off into the woods. Little Spock would go run away. I think Spock and Michael and Cybok, I think it works. And I don't think that there's any issues with any of those retcons.
It would be cool to see all three of them as children.
Yes.
Yeah.
They could hire that same actor who played young Michael again. She was fantastic. Yeah. Anything else that we wanted to mention briefly as far as other retcons? We could maybe talk about this for 5 more minutes before we get into our Lower Decks trailer breakdown.
I'll just bring up one thing. Klingons. Sometimes they have hair, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they look like people wearing blackface. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have weird eyebrows. Sometimes they don't. And sometimes they got lots of ridges and they're called L'Rell. And sometimes they don't.
Sometimes
and that's
they have
the biggest retcon of all.
Sometimes they have bone white skin. Sometimes they have purple skin.
Yep.
And sometimes they're just Worf.
I will say that the Klingons in Discovery season 1 were almost the thing that had me stop watching Star Trek. I think I said that on the show before, but
You have.
that look almost killed Star Trek for me because it was such a departure that was so unnecessary. And thank God they listened, and Glenn Hetrick and Neville Page, who are from Alchemy Studios, just were like, yeah, we wanted to try something different.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Hey, some choices will really cling on. Others will cling off. It doesn't work.
Yeah. This is actually a good question
Yours,
we could talk about from Yum Yum Pod. What about the major shift of the Ferengi being the baddies to a complete joke fest? Because in season 1, they make them out to be so mysterious and maybe setting them up as the big bad of that show. And then I think by season 3 or 4, they're just...
They also
Referring to DS9 because they were always jokes.
they were sort of like in the first TNG appearance. They're sort of like primitive,
Nefarious
more
little
primitive.
goblins.
Yeah.
And I like that they didn't do that anymore. They sort of like with the whips and stuff. It just seemed weird. I didn't like it.
I like that they kept the whips canon, though, when Quark is playing with his action figures in Ferengi love songs, and he's like the toys have the whips.
Yeah.
Which is, I will quickly plug, if you want to hear more about Ferengi love songs, we just posted our patron exclusive podcast, Drunk Space 9, episode 8, where we talk about Ferengi love songs. And we have this similar conversation about the Ferengis of old and the Ferengis of DS9.
You want to know a good segue? Ferengis do appear in the season 2 trailer for Lower Decks.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll see there if they're retconned even more.
They do indeed. Does that mean that we should talk about that awesome Lower Deck season 2 trailer?
I think so. I've been wearing the jacket for long enough.
You're ready to go. You are
That's all I
ready
want
to
to
go.
talk about tonight. Let's go.
Get in, Ensign. We're doing sci-fi shit. Let's go.
We are.
I'm gonna let that burp get out before it gets on air.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into this. Again, if you follow us on Instagram, you can kind of follow along with what I'm using as my reference. That's at Strange New Pod. And we are going to start with this first 4 shots. It's actually Brittany and Hawk's backgrounds tonight of the crew looking beautifully out at this comet and talking about how great Starfleet is and getting to explore the universe. And then the Cerritos jumps away.
It's like, "Choo."
and,
How much oxygen do these things have?
they left
so,
us. Some, a lot, a little.
Yep.
What are
She's
we
like,
looking at?
What are we talking here? What are we looking at here? How much
Yep.
oxygen? It's so good.
Yeah.
I love her line delivery, and the rest of them are just like,
Their faces are so classic here. Just like this
Yeah.
look of absolute just shock and awe. Like, oh my God, we're going to die. Yeah.
oh, Mariner.
Oh, man.
How I've missed her.
Um,
I like
Let
that
me
they're
ask
all
you guys-
together again.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's a great way to start it.
I'm gonna assume and call that this is a cold open.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it feels like a cold open.
It feels like a cold open,
Yeah.
right?
And the best cold open for a trailer ever.
Yeah.
God damn it! I'm sorry, my phone is doing really stupid shit tonight. I
It's all good.
apologize, guys.
But I love just the way that the galaxy looks like, the space and everything. It's like these awesome pastel colors and stuff, and then like it flicks back to them, and I love how their little oxygen like helmets, they glow
Light
a
up.
little bit. It's just so beautiful, and you're just like, oh, this wholesome bonding moment. And then Mariner's just like, and they're gone. Fuck. Okay. How much oxygen we have left? What are we talking about here? Hours, minutes,
It's
seconds?
we good?
Were the helmet lights
it.
blue in First Contact? I thought they were yellow for some reason.
They were they weren't really any color. You could just
No.
see
Were
they
their
just
faces
lights?
like
Yeah.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, just
But this is what they
illuminate.
were in Lower Deck season 1 too when they do that spacewalk in the first episode.
I want to
so-
cosplay that outfit.
That'd be
Oh,
awesome. Do it.
That'd
I'd have to be able to
awesome.
like sew and make it though, because I
Yeah.
doubt anybody has that.
Some people have noted that the satellite that they're standing on is similar to that satellite from the old TNG episode in that where the first reintroduced the Romulans back into the series. I'm trying to remember the name of it right now.
Oh, and aren't the Ferengi in that episode too? I think they are. No,
Not that one. The Neutral Zone is called.
Oh, that's right. Yep,
Neutral zone.
yep. Interesting.
It's
That would suck to be left in the neutral zone, just floating there. Anyway,
I think being left anywhere to float is bad.
that's true,
Yes.
but like especially when you're like, this is contested space.
Uh,
Boy.
let's get into this next. We have some returning races from Star Trek of old and new. So we have the exciting returns of the Tamarians. Like, oh, did not expect that. I don't remember his
Julian,
name.
when the walls fell.
Julian when the walls fell. Shaka when he joined the Six.
Eric,
Whatever
when the
this guy's
stream
name is.
failed.
Yeah, Eric when the stream fell. Brittany, when the puns happened. I don't know.
Strange New Pod when they went off the rails. We see the Tamarians. We see an evil computer. Is this from a TOS episode, Hawk? Or is this a new thing?
I think this is just a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, that's what I immediately thought.
It's got to be right because it's evil blinking light.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
What's great about it is that it's voiced by the one, the only Mr. Jeffrey Combs, which is super exciting.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes,
Yep.
it's Jeffrey Combs.
It's Jeffrey Combs. Yeah. So he's got maybe like a bit of a Wayun computer voice.
Mm-hmm.
So. And then, of course, the pack leads are going to be prominent in the season again as the Titan are off, I think, fighting them, probably making Boimler shit his pants, proverbial pants, his Starfleet wetsuit, whatever you want to call it. What do we think of the pack leads, man, as a villain? It kind of worked at the end of
love
season
it.
1.
They made it work. They made them such a threat, and I was like,
Mhm.
this makes sense.
It does.
Can they keep going, though? Like, I feel like it can't last too much longer.
I feel like they're not going to be like a main big bad, but they're like one of those recurring, like they'll appear once per season, and it'll just be like hilariousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Bird Person from Rick and Morty.
Huckin'.
Yeah, they could work only in lower decks though, and that
Yes.
they could never bring the Packlets back in any of in the regular series.
That sounds like a challenge, Paramount.
It does.
Burnham would just be like, done.
Yeah. Lexi, who is watching us late in
Hi,
Scotland
Lexi.
time tonight,
Yo, yo.
says, "But what about the Remans?
Every time.
Every time, without
Every
fail,
night.
where art thou?" Yes, yes,
Oh my
yes.
God.
Let's move on to our next set of stills. We have a lot for this trailer. It was a great trailer. So we're going to focus on some team ups that we didn't get to see a lot in season 1, which makes season 2 look really exciting. I know
Team
this
up.
is a team up that people wanted a lot more of last season, and that is Mariner and Tendi. This first shot looks like they're off on like some casino planet. This could be
Free Cloud?
from
That's Free
thank
Cloud.
you.
Cloud.
Yeah.
Free Cloud from Picard.
Because you can see Quark's bar in the
Quark's
Yeah.
bar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So getting a little bit of continuity there. That's exciting. She's excited about something, and Tendi has a really nervous look on her face because it's Mariner, which means she's probably up to no good. Then Mariner and Rutherford are giving her a very like, I'm so sorry of what just happened to you because Tendi just got shit out of a giant poop monster. And then looks like she's fighting Mariner is like trying to rip off some Nausicaans at this last shot here.
Yep.
And they start running away. I'm like, who's gonna get stabbed through the heart now?
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It already looks like so many shenanigans. And like, once again, the animation's great. Look at that, like the top shot where they are going through that city. Everything's neon. Like, it's super cool looking.
beautiful.
And I'm like, look at this lighting. Ugh, I love it. I'm here for it. I just want to see Mariner do so many crazy things.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. What do you guys think about seeing this a little bit more of this team up?
Oh God, yes.
Absolutely, I'm here for it, especially if Nausicaans are involved.
I like seeing the
Come on, play
dynamics.
Dom
Play Donjon.
I hope that she gets to team up because I know like her and Tendi didn't get to do a lot last season, but like also seeing what if there was an episode that was just like Mariner and Rutherford, you know, like I want to see each
Yes.
person eventually pair off and have these different dynamics, and it would be so cool.
Yeah, agreed. Our next, not necessarily team up, but this trailer showed a lot more of Mariner doing more Mariner shit.
They know their audience.
Yep. She's the only one who looks unamused at this entertainer that we see from the first part of the trailer. In the second shot, she's literally jumping out at someone, like she jumped out of a closet or something. She's got an angry face in the night. A lot of angry faces from Mariner. She's looking down at the evil Jeffrey Combs computer in that third shot. And then finally, yeah,
You say?
we're just going to call him evil Jeffrey Combs computer until we know what it's called.
I'm here for it.
And then finally, that great shot at the end of the trailer
That's
when
my favorite part.
yeah, she's like, "There's a security team waiting to take me to the brig." Yeah, there is. Don't disobey me again. Love you, mom.
I do what I want.
I do what I want.
I mean, Brittany, I already know the answer, but I know that you're ready for all of Mariner's bullshit again.
I would die for Tawny Newsome. I hope she knows this. I fucking love Mariner. I can't wait. She's my favorite part of the whole show, even though I love everything about Lower Decks. But oh man, can't wait to see her thrive. But especially that ending. I don't care if that happens like right away in the first episode. Like that to me, I was just like, I'm sold on the next season. The fact that she's like, "You're already taking me to brig." Oh, here we are. It's so awesome.
How about you guys? More Mariner, or is it enough?
Oh,
God,
Hey.
give us more.
Mariner.
More.
Yeah,
You got to marinate in it.
I'll be back in 1 sec.
I saw a movie recently. This is a weird aside. Called How It Ends. It's about the last day on Earth when a meteor comes, and this girl is sort of trying to go through her life and resolve some things. But Tony Newsome is in it. Tony Newsome's in it, and she's wonderful. And you're just sitting there, it's like, yes, you're good in everything I've seen you in.
He is good in everything.
Have you guys watched Space Force?
Yeah,
He does
she's also very
music
good.
too. You should listen to her
It's
music.
so good. Yeah, she's a singer. Yeah, she's awesome. Let's move on to our next still, and that is another team up, I think. Yes. Okay, so the first
The team up
dynamic
of the
the
century.
team up of the century, my favorites. That's Rutherford and Tendi back doing their hijinks. This is all about hijinks. I have a feeling I'm going to predict what's happening in this first shot of what looks like a lot of probes stuck to Rutherford and like getting electrocuted. I think Tendi is trying to like reawaken his memories.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
my assumption there. We get the typical. I really need to get this on the soundboard. The Rutherford okie dokie.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and then this is Friendship 101. They are building a Cerritos model together.
They're building
Damn
Friendship
straight.
101.
They're not just building friendship. Do you see those eyes
It's
that she's
gonna
giving
dock.
him?
And it's going to be Relationship 101.
Oh, it's going to be a full-on ship.
Yeah. The Tendi eyes as she's like fixing stuff and she's just like, oh yeah, put that sticker on.
No, but I think those are love eyes. I think that she is falling for him this season. She was
Hold on,
falling
let me
for him
take it up
last
with
season.
my group of animators in the background. Sorry guys, are these love eyes? Yes, they're love eyes.
Those
Okie
are love
dokie.
eyes. Yep.
Okie dokie.
Okie
Yeah,
dokie.
it's gonna be the other way around where like she's starting to hit on him and he's just like oblivious.
Definitely.
Like every boy.
Yeah. He's gonna
Especially
look at the Jeffrey's
Rutherford.
tube and be like,
Yeah. And then of course, high fives all around. I mean, listen, I love these two. Can't wait to see more of them. This is who I'm most excited to see in season 2, especially what happened to Rutherford at the end of the season. Yeah.
yeah, he lost Jax.
Yeah. Did we lose Shax?
Did we?
Did we?
We'll find
this
out.
is where it's confusing
Dun,
because
dun,
apparently
dun.
There's that.
the
There's that.
Tamarian,
Yeah.
the
there's-
I
Tamarian
feel
is
like
the new
it's a
security
flashback.
officer,
Yeah,
right?
he's in that shot. and Boimler's in that shot. It's either a flashback or he's
How
got.
do we know Rutherford didn't just grow more eyes? Maybe
do you
that's
mean?
what's happening in the first one.
What do you mean?
Instead of it being probes, I'm joking that they're eyeballs. It was a joke.
Oh, got you.
Oh my god.
I got you,
It's
fam.
less funny when I have to explain it.
Speaking of that shot in the cargo bay,
Yeah.
did you guys see the one who's kind of holding court at the top of the screen?
Yep.
TOS
Yeah.
or the animated series,
Animated
right?
series.
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently it's
Pandronian.
EEM.
Okay.
Pandronian. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from the episode Berm.
Yeah.
Berm, yeah. Bem.
Interesting.
But it's
Them.
a Pandronian, an alien race introduced, capable of separating into independent functioning parts.
Interesting.
Neat. Like Pangea.
Speaking of Tendi, Tendi looks to be having a hard time in season 2. She gets shit out of a monster. She's falling through a Jeffries tube, which I think is connected to this image below where she gets turned into a giant Tendi scorpion / crab monster. I'm getting hardcore TNG Genesis vibes from
Tendi
this.
Mantis down the bottom.
Yeah, it could be Tendi Mantis. Do you see how like her face just gets smaller and smaller in the image? Like the eyes are so small and it looks really funny when you look at the last 2 set of eyes and her mouth like wide open. It's super hilarious. I don't know. I thought it was really
I like that her hair is still perfectly coiffed.
Yes.
Even as a giant praying mantis weird
Yep.
creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Tendi, this set of images, it's like her Boimler moments. You
Yes.
know? Like this is shit that you'd expect to happen to Brad, but who knows? Maybe he's better than that now.
Well, and Mariner has that line too, like when hasn't one of us been pooped out of a giant poop monster? And she's like,
true.
stop talking to me. Oh, I'm here for Tendi. I'm gonna plug another podcast real quick. Star Trek Discovery Pod was talking about characters as part of the Women at Warp IDIC Festival that they kind of like see themselves in, and like I'm such a Tendi, like because I get overexcited about things and I obsess with things, and I definitely could get mad at these situations really quick too. So I'm a total Tendi. I love her. Let's move on to some more returning characters and people. We have a look at Admiral Freeman or Mariner. Which one is it? Is Mariner a made up name so she doesn't have to go by her mom's name, or is it her dad's last name? I'm very curious about this.
I feel like it's probably a made-up last name because she didn't want people to know that she's related to her mom, but being related to another admiral would also be an issue within
Yes.
Starfleet. People would still question her, so my guess is that it's a made-up thing. Maybe
So they're both
Freemans.
Freeman, and she
Yeah.
made up an alias so she didn't have to be
Mariner.
associated with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a hidden meaning.
Maybe.
in it.
We'll find out. It'll be, season 5, episode 3, and she'll be like, here's my tragic backstory.
And then we have the man, the myth, the legend,
Give me warp.
Captain Will Riker. Oh,
5,
back in
6, 7, 8.
all his glory. I'm so excited to see Riker and the Titan back in season 2. Listen, it won't ever happen, but there's a part of me that really wants a Lower Decks Riker Titan spinoff that is a comedy series.
They could do it.
They could do it.
It's
they
a
really
popular
could.
enough show.
Yeah. And then we just have more new Trek to talk about, and we would die. We would die.
I'd be here for it.
That would
I
become
mean,
a
if they
full-time
can make
job.
Family Guy
yes.
and American Dad and like the 85 other shows they did for that shit, like, come on.
Yeah.
Throw us a bone, give us 2 Star Trek animated series within the same universe that are fun. Like,
That
come
would
on.
be a lot of fun. And then we get Ensign Jet, who is in season 1. Someone
Jet!
Boimler was a little bit jealous of, but
girlfriend?
he's in a few screens from the season, so we're going to see more of Jet. And then one of the best cameos in this goddamn trailer, commemorative Voyager plate, Tom Paris talking to Boimler, who's hallucinating. Oh my fucking god! And not only is it in Lower Decks, they are releasing it in a couple of weeks as a commemorative plate that you can buy.
It's a real
Genius.
damn plate.
Like, fuck
I
you
love it.
I
for,
haven't-
for banking on capitalism, but I'm buying this plate.
I haven't gotten a commemorative plate since I was like 15.
15.
It was so big in like the 90s.
Yeah.
I
And
had
then it
some
got
of those
better.
Star Trek commemorative
This one was
plates.
actually based on, because apparently back in the 90s they released a Janeway commemorative plate
Yep.
with Voyager.
Yeah.
And of
Oh my
course,
God.
they pass right over Harry Kim once again, who did more for the ship, and then go straight to Tom fucking Paris.
Lexi goes,
Where's Harry Kim's plate?
the Paris is back, y'all.
Yes.
Oh, Mike
now I'm
McMahon
wondering where
actually-
my plates are.
Mike McMahon actually made a funny tweet saying, "You're lucky that we didn't go with our first design," and it still said Tom Paris, but it was Lizard Tom Paris from Lizard Babies episode.
Everybody would buy it.
Lizard babies.
Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah.
funnier? He tweeted about it beforehand about commemorative plates like forever ago, and now
He
it's
did.
actually
It was
becoming a
like
theme.
2 years
Yeah.
ago. Yeah.
So it's like, here we go.
Oh,
Put that man in charge. Look what we get.
commemorative plates. I can't wait to get this plate. Maybe if they're not terribly expensive, we'll go for
Mike
one
McMahon is the
away.
Mike McMahon.
Yeah, he is for sure.
I'm putting the Janeway plate in our Discord so you can see it.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Where
Nice.
there's a Will Riker, there's a Janeway.
And then we saved the Boimler, the Boims, that guy for last. The dude is having a hard time. He looks happy at first. He's got that new pip. He's chilling out, but then he starts getting blades thrown at him. He's getting shot while he's getting transported up. And then the big one, which I think is the reason he ends up going back to the Cerritos, our man gets assimilated.
This is like everything bad that could happen to Jean-Luc he's going through, and not even with the privilege of being a captain. I love that him being transported, because he already had the transporter episode like
I
last
thought the
season,
same thing. Yeah.
but him screaming and then it cutting in and out like like I was just like
Perfect.
I could picture him screaming in the booth, like making that happen, and then some editor just being like, I fucking love my job. This is gonna be amazing. Like an engineer's just like, yep. It's so good. Like it cracks me up every time.
Do we think that whether he actually does get assimilated and this isn't just a dream, but let's say he does get assimilated, is that the thing that's like, I'm tired of being with Will Riker who seems to look for trouble. I'm going back to the fucking Cerritos.
I could see
Yeah,
that.
he might be like, remember how we
Right.
said the Enterprise always had a lot going on? Yeah, I'm
that
going back.
Riker guy.
I need buffer time.
Yeah, need that buffer time. Happy to be in Ensign again. Guys, I mean, listen, the trailer is awesome. Do you have any major, like, if you had to take away one thing from this trailer that you would take away?
Like remove or do the
No, like,
came
what's
with
your
a-
biggest takeaway from it? Like, what is the biggest thing that you personally got out?
There was this one moment with Boimler and Mariner in the buggy from Nemesis,
Yes.
wearing the
Yes,
formal.
The formal wear.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
but-
thinking about too.
Also, that it's a reference to the Blues Brothers.
Is
I
it?
love it.
Yeah,
I
The
believe
whole
it.
thing where
Totally.
they're going through a shopping mall in that inside
Yeah,
a
in the
runaway
car.
vehicle. Like, how many layers does this show have to operate on?
That's
And
the
that
best
it's
thing
amazing.
about it.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah.
so much of it like it deep cuts into a lot of Trek, like very obscure stuff, but then sometimes you're like, this is from another show I love. This is from another thing.
I love how
love it.
big they're going. Like this is like
Yes.
Oh yeah.
so much bigger. Like this is the movie episode, but a whole season.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fucking
And the
love that
animation
episode.
has improved already for season 2. They did a big upgrade to the Cerritos animation. It looks a lot cleaner and it's got more
They got a
detail for
budget.
season 2. They got a budget. Any other takeaways, things that you got the most out of this trailer, Brittany, Eric?
I'm remember how we were talking about at the end of last season how like since Boimler went off, we're like how are him and Mariner going to be like butting
Mhm.
heads, and is it going to take them a while to like reconnect, whatever. Just from seeing a lot of this in the season, if that is even a thing, it'll be very quickly like
Very
remedied.
brief.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like
which is
probably
good because
like
we thought maybe they wouldn't even meet up for a while.
it's probably like Stamets and Burnham are going to have to butt heads a little bit at the beginning of season 4 Disco, but it's probably going to go pretty quickly. Yeah.
Stamets better stay in his damn lane.
Stay in your lane, man. Stay in your lane.
Don't treat Michael like shit. She finally got the captain's chair. But I digress.
I like that Mariner and Freeman's relationship didn't like digress, right?
Yes.
Like it's still that loving one, or at least it's that loving place they got at the end of season 1, and they're still doing that same like fight,
Butting
but,
head-
but
yep,
there's still
yeah,
love there.
But it's nice now.
Mariner's
Yeah.
still a lovable asshole.
Yeah,
Just
Like,
like
tell
me.
me what to do.
Yeah.
I do what I
do what I
want.
My biggest takeaway is the team ups. It really looks like they're going to focus on putting different characters together more. Like it's not just going to be Boimler and Mariner and Tendi and Rutherford. They're really going to split them up and do more things and maybe even put them with other characters. And that's my last question I want to ask you guys tonight. Any team ups that we didn't see in the trailer from other characters like the bridge crew? Do we want to see them interact more with the ensigns in the lower decks? Like, are there team ups that you didn't see that you do want to see work more together this season? Go ahead, Eric.
I want to see Kayshawn and Mariner. Like just that's gonna be wow.
Oh, God.
Just
watch Mariner know the Temerian language, right?
yeah, that's fair.
Because she
Might work.
would. Because
Yeah.
she would.
You would too.
Yeah.
I want to see more. I want to see Ransom buddy up with somebody because, like,
Oh, yeah.
he and Mariner kind of had that one, like, episode when they went down that planet and then totally pissed off that group of people. But we don't really see him in the trailer.
No.
Than, like, I guess
the
with
first
the bridge
trailer
crew.
we do. Yeah.
But like, it would just be interesting to see even him. Just, I mean, we know when Rutherford was changing jobs, they kind of had like a little moment where he's like, "You ejected all the children off the ship. I've never seen that done before."
Let's do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again.
With more children.
But I just like Ransom moments. Like, he doesn't have many, but whenever he shows up, he fucking shines. And I
Yeah.
think that's just Jerry himself, like, doing a great job. But I
Speaking
want to
of-
see more Ransom.
Speaking of Mr. Jerry O'Connell, we know that you listen to our show and we know that you like our social media stuff. Come on, man. We want you. We want to speak with you.
Come
Come
on,
on our
Jerry.
show. It'll be a blast. You'll have a great time.
I
It'll be
promise
amazing.
though I'm very young, and I only really know you from Kangaroo Jack, and Stand By Me. You
And
can forgive me. Because I
And
love
Slider. You got to watch Sliders, man. It's such a
That's
good
you. I
show.
do need to watch Sliders apparently.
I want to see one more Ransom Tendi the cleaner team up.
Yeah, right? That would be
yes.
Moment
amazing.
of this season. I need
yeah.
that. I
He's
need
the
that.
dynamic I
one.
want to see how they throw him in because he's such a fucking wild card and I
Yeah.
love it.
Jerry
Oh, one
on
of-
our show with the fun.
Yeah. Stand By Me is one of my favorites.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Another Stephen King gem.
Yeah.
I fucking love Stephen King stuff. Anyway, I digress.
I want to see more some sort of team up with Tayana and pretty much anyone on the Cerritos crew
Yes.
in that. Some sort of standalone episode in that with her in that away mission.
Someone she could dig
She's
her
like-
coital loins into.
right.
She's the character that gets to say fuck. Did you notice that? Like,
Yes.
there's so many characters that like curse here or there or whatever, but like she straight up is just like, what the fuck? Just like, Tana, we love you.
She's amazing.
Crazy cat lady.
I want to.
Oh.
You know what else I would like to see? We haven't seen a second Contact story in a long time. Like, I
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to
No,
see
not
that
Like
again.
the first
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be doing that, so
Yeah.
it'd be cool to see that again.
Maybe,
Their primary mission, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
technically.
Oh.
But how many times in Star Trek did they really do First Contact?
Yeah.
that's fair.
The right way, should I say.
Guys, Lower Deck season 2, 2 weeks from today. That'll be our episode in 2 weeks. For 10 weeks after that, we'll be covering all Lower Deck season 2 episodes. In the meantime, leading up to Lower Deck season 2, we have some really fun things ready and prepared for you starting next week. And I want to say it's Tuesday. I'm going to be right. No, I'm wrong. It's Monday. Starting this Monday, we are going to be doing a rewatch of season 1 in our watch along channel every single night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And every single night until Wednesday, the 11th, we are going to be giving away watch along specific and exclusive stickers. And these are our Lower Decks friendship stickers. And
It says
every night we're going to be
friendship.
giving away 2 of them. So join us in our Discord watch along channel. It's going to be a really good time rewatching season 1 of Lower Decks, and that'll lead right in to season 2, which we are so excited about. We can't wait. Hawk, Brittany, you guys are hosting next week's episode. What's happening next week?
We're gonna finally finish the Cardassians. For now, until they show up in another show.
We're gonna do a deep dive into the Cardassians in DS9, which is
Which
a
is, oh
very-
boy, there are a lot of Cardassians in that show.
a lot of Cardassians, a lot of politics, lots going on there.
So
in that,
you'll think there's white and black, but man, are we going to show you some moral gray areas. And you're going to hate us for it. But come join for the fun, the frivolity, the spoons.
The spoons.
We got it all.
spoons.
I'm a little sad I'm going to be missing that one, but Karen and I are going to go see the Wait, Don't Tell Me, the NPR show live at the Man for
Nice.
her birthday stuff. So I will leave it in your very capable hands, and I will say, anybody have anything final before I wrap this one up? No? Then I will say to everyone on Twitch, to my awesome co-hosts, Eric, Hawk, Brittany, live long and prosper. Majram, good night. We will see you next week for the Cardassian reunion. Good night.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.